dare to journey through the darkest realms of the human soul. In Dante's Inferno, each of the 9 circles reveals a twisted reflection of sin, where punishment fits the crime with haunting precision. From lustful winds to frozen betrayal, this descent is more than horror, it's a mirror of our own choices. Step by step, the truth grows colder, the weight heavier. Don't look away. The final circle holds a silence more terrifying than fire. Dante's journey into hell begins gently, with silence and sorrow. The first circle, known as Limbo, holds the souls of the unbaptized and the virtuous who lived before the time of Christ. Here, there is no punishment of fire or torment. Instead, there is eternal longing, a deep sadness born from the absence of divine grace. These souls are not damned for their sins, but for lacking faith. Among them are noble figures like Homer, Socrates, Julius Caesar, and even Saladin. They dwell in a majestic but shadowed castle, surrounded by green meadows and a sky without sun. Dante deeply respects these spirits, especially the poets who welcome him into their circle. Yet, the sadness lingers, they will never see the face of God. Limbo is not cruel, but it is tragic, a paradise denied. It reminds us that even the greatest human wisdom, without spiritual salvation, is incomplete. As Dante and Virgil descend into the second circle of hell, the tone shifts dramatically. Here begin the punishments of the truly damned. This circle is reserved for the lustful, those who allowed passion and carnal desire to overpower reason. The souls here are swept violently through a dark, endless storm, symbolizing the chaos of uncontrolled desire in life. They have lost the ability to choose, now they are forever tossed by the winds they once embraced. Among the famous figures Dante sees are Cleopatra, Helen of Troy, and Paolo and Francesca, 2 lovers whose tragic story deeply moves him. Their suffering is not physical agony, but emotional torment, a yearning they can never fulfill, locked in a storm of eternal separation. Dante is struck by the humanity of their sin and the sorrow in their punishment. In this circle, love becomes a force of destruction, and passion without restraint is condemned as a dangerous and consuming fire. In the third circle of hell, Dante enters a realm of cold, foul rain and filthy slush, a far cry from the burning flames often imagined in hell. This circle is reserved for the gluttons, those who indulged endlessly in food, drink, and material pleasures. Now, their bodies lie in the mud, pelted by relentless icy rain, symbolizing the emptiness and degradation of their overindulgence. Cerberus, the 3-headed beast, stands guard over them, tearing at the sinners with his claws and teeth. These souls live in eternal discomfort, denied the pleasure they once craved and trapped in a storm of waste and rot. Dante's vision here emphasizes how excessive indulgence reduces the soul to something base and animalistic. The punishment fits the crime, just as the gluttons consumed without restraint, now they are consumed by filth, cold, and monstrous hunger. It is a bleak warning about the spiritual consequences of seeking fulfillment in excess. In the fourth circle of hell, Dante witnesses a chaotic and tragic spectacle. Here reside the souls of the greedy, those who hoarded wealth, and the prodigal, those who squandered it. Their punishment is a never-ending battle. They roll massive weights in opposite directions and crash into each other with fury, shouting accusations for eternity. The weights symbolize the burden of their material obsession, whether through excessive saving or reckless spending. There is no distinction between kings and beggars, all are equal in their eternal struggle, consumed by their attachment to fortune. The circle is guarded by Plutus, the ancient god of wealth, who mutters incomprehensible words, a symbol of the corrupting, senseless power of money. Dante's message is clear: the pursuit of wealth, whether through greed or waste, leads only to spiritual ruin. This circle reveals how the extremes of economic desire distort human purpose and turn life into a fruitless, repetitive cycle of collision and regret. As Dante crosses the dark waters of the river Styx, he reaches the fifth circle of hell, where the souls of the wrathful and the slothful are punished. The wrathful thrash and tear at each other in the swampy waters, consumed by uncontrollable rage, their fury continuing even in death. Meanwhile, beneath the surface lie the sullen and apathetic, those who suppress their anger and fail to act in life. They gurgle beneath the murky water, trapped in eternal silence and regret. This circle reflects two sides of the same destructive coin, explosive anger and lifeless passivity. Both lead the soul away from harmony and truth. As Dante watches the violent chaos and hears the muffled cries below, he realizes that emotional imbalance, whether in furious outbursts or silent resignation, corrupts the human spirit. The fifth circle is not just a punishment, it's a mirror of what happens when emotions go unchecked or are buried too deep to heal. As Dante and Virgil pass through the gates of the infernal city of Dis, they enter the sixth circle, reserved for heretics. Here lie the souls of those who denied the immortality of the soul and rejected the true faith. Their punishment is both symbolic and terrifying. They are trapped in flaming tombs for all eternity. The heat represents the fire of their misguided intellects, and the tombs reflect the spiritual death they embraced in life. Among them are famous philosophers and political leaders who challenged religious doctrine. The cries from the burning graves echo through the air, as the damned are condemned not for violence or lust, but for the corruption of belief and the rejection of divine truth. Dante emphasizes that heresy is not merely error, but willful blindness to eternal realities. The sixth circle warns of the dangers of prideful thought. When reason is severed from faith, the soul becomes a prisoner of its own false convictions. The seventh circle of hell is divided into 3 rings, each punishing a different form of violence. In the outer ring are those who committed violence against others, murderers and tyrants, submerged in a river of boiling blood, phlegethon, guarded by centaurs who shoot arrows at any who rise too high. In the middle ring are those who turned violence inward, suicides. These souls are transformed into gnarled, thorny trees, broken and bleeding when harpies tear their limbs. They speak only through pain. In the innermost ring dwell those who committed violence against God, nature, and art, blasphemers, sodomites, and usurers, condemned to burn forever in a desert of flaming sand under a rain of fire. This circle is brutal and symbolic, showing how violence fractures the natural order and wounds the soul. Dante's vision condemns not only physical harm, but also the destruction of identity, hope, and divine harmony. It is a place of anguish where every act of force becomes its own torment. The eighth circle of hell, known as Malebolge, is a vast, stone pit divided into 10 concentric ditches, each one punishing a different type of fraud. Here dwell flatterers, seducers, hypocrites, thieves, false counselors, corrupt politicians, falsifiers, and more. Every ditch delivers a punishment as twisted as the sin itself. Hypocrites wear gilded lead cloaks, thieves are bitten by serpents and transformed, and false prophets walk with their heads twisted backward, forever facing the past. Dante descends deeper and deeper, witnessing the grotesque creativity of divine justice. Fraud, to him, is a betrayal of human reason and trust, the very foundation of society. This circle is guarded by demons and filled with confusion, illusion, and suffering. Malebolge is not chaotic like earlier circles, it is organized, calculated, and cold, reflecting the intellectual cunning of fraudsters. It reveals the terrifying power of lies, where truth is perverted and trust becomes a weapon. Here, deception is both sin and sentence. At the deepest level of hell lies the ninth circle, reserved for the worst of all sinners, traitors. Unlike the fiery torments of earlier circles, this realm is frozen, locked in the icy lake of Cocytus. Here, the warmth of love and trust has been utterly extinguished. Souls are trapped in the ice at varying depths, depending on the gravity of their betrayal, whether against family, country, guests, or benefactors. At the very center stands Lucifer, a monstrous three-faced figure, forever crying and devouring the three most infamous traitors, Judas Iscariot, Brutus, and Cassius. His massive wings beat cold winds that keep the lake frozen, symbolizing how treachery freezes the soul and isolates it from all light and grace. The ninth circle is quiet and motionless, evoking fear not through brutality, but through complete emptiness. For Dante, betrayal is the ultimate sin. It breaks bonds, shatters trust, and leaves the soul entombed in eternal, frigid isolation. Dante's Inferno is more than punishment, it's a reflection of the soul. Each circle reveals how our choices shape who we become. It's a warning, but also a call to face our inner darkness and grow. Hell shows us not where we're doomed to go, but what we must overcome. If you enjoyed this journey, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe for more mythology and deep stories. Thanks for watching, see you in the next descent.